Hey guys, Kyle Thompson here with eXp Realty, bringing you another monthly market update, and this week we're focusing on detached homes. Let's dive right in. All right, so starting off big picture. Last month we had 225 new listings, 92 new sales. The average list price was $827,165. The average sale price was $802,872. The average sale price to list ratio was 97.13. Average days on market was 37.67, and we ended the month with an inventory of 403 units. So let's take a look at what that does for the market conditions. I like to use both the monthly supply of inventory method as well as the sales to new list ratio, as I find using both measurements gives a more complete picture of what's going on in the market. With that said, using the monthly supply of inventory method, we came in at 5.16, which puts us right in the middle of a neutral market. If we use the sales to new list ratio instead, we came in at 41%, which also puts us into a neutral market, but we are bordering on a buyer's market. Now let's jump over and take a look at the active inventory last month. In April, new listings continued their upward trend, rising from 194 in March up to 225 in April. New sales also rose dramatically from 57 up to 92. Expireds rose from 16 up to 18th month over month, and the benchmark price for a detached home in Kamloops rose $3,100 from 667,800 up to 670,900. Now let's take a look at the end of month inventory. Last month we ended the month with 403 units on the market, which is the highest this time of year going back to 2018, and we're currently sitting about 9% above the 10-year average of 356. If we look at new listings year to date, we see that so far there's been 677, which is the third highest in the last 10 years and the highest since 2021. Currently, we are sitting about 13% above the 10-year average of 619. If we take a look at the sold units instead, we see that the abysmal year continues. So far, year to date, there's only been 249 detached home sales, which is the lowest in the last 10 years, year to date. And currently, we're sitting about 27% below the 10-year average of 343. Now let's jump over and take a look at the sales dashboard, starting off with the average sales price. This table is measuring year-over-year changes, so a full year over a full year. And when looked at that way, prices are actually up 2.75%, rising from 766,000 and change up to 787,000 and change. Currently, we have 3 areas of town with an average sale price over $1 million, which are Sun Peaks, Tobiano, and Sun Rivers, and 2 areas with an average sale price below $500,000, which are Paul Lake and Pritchard. Now let's move on to the sale to list price ratio. So all this is a measurement of how much properties are selling below the list price on average. So it's a good proxy for how much negotiating room you have when you are the buyer. Last month, the sale to list price ratio fell almost a full percent to 97.13%, meaning there is more negotiating room on average when you are the buyer. Now let's take a look at sales by sub area. Once again, this table is full year over full year, and when looked at that way, sales are down about 1.26%. It's a bit of a mixed bag on which areas are doing well and which are not. However, I would like to point out that Sahali and Westside are both down about 24%, and Pineview is down about 36%. If you would like to take a closer look at the areas, feel free to pause the video. I'm going to move on to days on market, starting off with the 10-year. So far, year to date, it's taken an average of 43 days for detached homes to sell, which is about 6% below the trailing 10-year average of 46. If we look at the trailing 12-month average instead, we see that last month we came in at 38 days, which is 22% below the trailing 12-month average of 49. Finally, let's look at days on market by sub area. This is year over year again, and when looked at that way, it's taking about 6% longer for detached homes to sell in aggregate, and currently the fastest areas of town to sell are Westmont, Dufferin, and Sahali, all with an average days on market of 34 or less, whereas the areas taking the longest to sell are Paul Lake, Sun Peaks, and Red Lake, with an average days on market ranging from 94 up to 158 days. That's all we have for today. I really hope that you guys are continuing to get value out of these market updates. If you are, consider liking and subscribing to my YouTube channel. And as always, if you ever feel like you want something added to these market updates, or maybe something that needs to be more thoroughly explained, please feel free to leave your comments or suggestions in the comment section below, and I'll get to them as soon as I'm able. I appreciate you taking the time, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.